Hey, this is Kenrick. I'm going to talk about something right now with you that, it's going to cut right into the quick of who you are, right into your heart. If you sell, if you're a coach, one thing you hate, and I do mean hate, is when people try to commoditize you, when they trying to just look at you as a price and how little can they make you be. I used to just hate that. I'm going to give you a couple of ideas about this that can really help you do far more uh, effective selling, far more effective coaching. And it's also going to do a few other really interesting things for you. It's going to help raise your status as an expert. It's also going to help you to be more confident when you're engaging with somebody. You won't have to really worry about this so much anymore. So let's dig right into this. I wrote an article called Why Expert Sales Pros, Entrepreneurs, and Coaches Do Not Get Commoditized. And let's just kind of pull apart this whole idea. First of all, it is human nature to commoditize everyone and everything. So there's the race to the bottom. Okay. And you know what I'm talking about. If you've sold more than about 6 months, everybody's trying to do one less than you. Oh, well, they charge, $10,000 a month, and I'll do it for, $9,595. Right. So they're always a person trying to race to the bottom and see how much lower they can go than you will, as if price is the determining factor. But if you are a salesperson, if you are a coach, if you're an entrepreneur, I'm telling you right now, it is not about the price. Well, I mean, it is about the price in some parts. You're definitely going to find people that can't afford you. That's fine. So what? Doesn't matter. You'll also find lots of people that can afford you. There's a core issue, though, surrounding salespeople's willingness to be commoditized. And we could encapsulate that by saying needy. A lot of salespeople feel needy, and partly that's because they're greedy. And, it's like, oh, I got a live one there on the phone with me. We're going to talk, and I'm going to convince them to buy this. Well, see, there's the beginning of the error. Don't be greedy. Don't be needy. So what you do should be being done because you are an expert. Now, you might say to me, Kenrick, that all is fine and good for others, but, I'm just trying to sell cars, or I sell pencils, or I'm just selling to, well, listen, we all make our bed. We all have to lie in it. But I'm going to show you how to make it a little more effective here. So the first thing is recognize it is human nature to try to commoditize everybody else. I had a guy, friend of mine, even friendly. I mean, we don't know each other very well, but he's been a client of mine and a friend of mine. And he said, "Hey, Kenrick, you got one of these a program. It's an ongoing program." He said, "If I were to pay you for a year in advance, would there be a discount?" I said, "No." He goes, "Really?" I said, "Right." And he goes, "Well, you mean to tell me that if I paid you a year, there'd be no discount?" I said, "No." He goes, "Well, why not?" I said, "Well, first of all, I don't justify my decisions to you. And second of all, because I said no." And he goes, "Well, I mean, there's value in money, like whatever you can get in your hand is valuable." And I said, "Right, for you. So I would absolutely recommend you following through on your beliefs when you communicate with people." He goes, "I just don't understand. Why wouldn't you do that?" I said, "Because I have no competition. Nobody can do what I do. So therefore, if you want to study with me, you're going to be paying me anyway. Why do I want to negotiate against myself by dropping my fees when I would get the money anyway? I'm not desperate. I don't have to have it. If you don't give it to me, that's okay." And let's go one further. I don't negotiate my price like that. And if you ever come to me again like that and ask me, I won't let you buy anything from me any further. What? He says, and I go, right, I'm dead serious. I don't play these games. I don't have these conversations. If you want to work with me, if you want to study with me, you know what to do. You know how to buy my materials. Okay, he said. That was the end of that. And yes, he has continued to buy for reasons that are quite obvious. So look, here's the thing. Why can I get away with that? Because I'm the leading expert in the field. How do you get to be that? Well, you work hard. But here's the thing. You might say, but Kendrick, what difference does the leading expert in the field have to do with selling a car? Oh, everything. You know, have you heard of Joe Girard? He was the world's top performing car salesperson for many years, running literal circles around everybody else. And he was literally the top expert. Now, if you want to apply the strategies of expertise, I'm going to have other videos on that. But let me tell you, there's no shortcut to being an expert. Well, there is. I'm going to tell it to you. But there's no real shortcut to being an expert. If you're an expert, it shines. If you're an expert, everybody wants to deal with you. What if you're not an expert, but you still need to make a living in selling? I would say you've got a problem. You've got two things pounding against each other, and commoditization is going to win eventually. So what do we do to fix that? Become an expert. How do we do that? Narrow your focus and then get to work. Become an expert at one little part of this. If you sell cars, maybe you are an expert at helping people understand why they should actually get a new car versus repair the older car that they have. What are the real advantages? Doesn't mean you have to talk for 2 hours about that and bore them to tears. It just means that you know it right off the top of your head. You're smooth and you're effective at making this case. You've studied it so well that anybody who comes to you, you could in seconds do a quick comparative analysis of the car they have, what it's costing them to fix now, what repairs they have to do now versus what the new car is going to run. You see, you could be an expert at that, a real expert. So when you talk about it, it comes out, it shines. This prevents or helps to prevent the commoditization that everybody wants to do with you. Now, I want to tell you another dirty little secret that nobody wants to hear. Like I said in the beginning, everybody does try to commoditize everybody else. You may go to a certain store to buy your groceries because you get a little bit less you pay a little bit less for the things that you want. Maybe. But in the end, people are more inclined to go where it's convenient, where it's easy, where they know it, it's familiar, and all these other things start adding together to make the shopping experience one that they could do every day, every other day, once a week, how often they do it. So in this case, one of the things that you have to start considering is, what was your choice of what to sell and why did you make that choice? There are some things that are extremely commoditized. Energy, gas. And by the way, you see some, gas stations, we use such and such an additive in our gas, which makes your motors run clean, blah, blah, blah. It's gas. They're going to put gas in your car. But that's what they're trying to do to make themselves not as commoditized, to squeeze that extra penny maybe per gallon. But there are these things that are absolutely commoditized. Cars are one of them. Used cars a little bit less because you can't compare apples to apples. Even the same car, the same year, the same color, the same everything won't be identical. One will have a few more miles. One will have a better service record. One will have a better guarantee. See what I'm saying? But a new car, if I'm selling a new car, it's just, I'm going to flat out be able to compare the price, you versus the guy next door that's selling the same thing. Now, it doesn't mean that's wrong or bad. If you can become a real expert in a portion of what you do, then you can set yourself apart and you can command higher fees. But as a coach, oh my God, as a coach, what on the earth are you doing if you're not an expert? I know you are, and that's why you're probably here. You're listening. You're trying to figure this out. As a coach, you need to be an expert, a great expert. Have you ever helped anyone? And the answer is, of course you have. Then depend on that, lean on that, understand the value of that. And when someone says to you, well, would you do it for $100 less? No. Well, it's just that I'm going to have to wait to do it then. I understand. Save your money. When you get to the point of being able to afford me, it'll be the right time. I'll talk to you then. Be willing to walk away. This is what helps separate you from these kinds of things. It helps you and it prevents you from being commoditized. This idea of not being needy is so important. And the big question you've got is, but Kenrick, how do I not be needy? And I'm going to tell you, but we'll have to wait for another video on that because this is going on a little bit. And I'd like to keep these snappy and short and give you things that are actionable that you can put into use. So you might want to check out the article, Why Expert Sales Pros, Entrepreneurs, and Coaches Do Not Get Commoditized. You'll find more actionable things there. And I look forward to talking with you again real soon. Keep going. There's so much here. It'll blow you away. Tons for you to learn and put into use. Talk soon.